What we're looking at here is a pair of procomp big block Chevy heads that have been run for 10 years. You can see the part number there, PC3021 08051230. I believe that's the date. Either 08 or 05, I'm not sure on that. I have no idea what that number means. Anyways, I wanted to show the condition of them after 10 years of hard use. And believe me, they've had hard use. Now these cylinder heads are not my personal heads. These are for a guy that I do a lot of cylinder head work for. I bored some blocks for him earlier this year, which I showed in some of the videos I did. Anyways, what was done to them is they've had some slight port work done on the intake runners. When you get these, I believe they're down in this area. I do have another set here I could compare them to. I might do that a little later. This is the spring setup. It's got dual springs, 10-degree locks, and I believe he bought these on eBay, which was probably 10 years ago or so, right around that area. Has a 454, 30 over, nothing special. I believe it had a steel crank in it. Had some H-beam rods and some Manly TRW pistons, dome pistons. I believe the compression was around 12 to 1, somewhere in there. Has comp cams, solid flat tappet. I believe it was a comp cams 305S. Then they started out in a 66 Chevelle. I can't remember how long you had them in that car, or had the engine in that car. I don't remember what it ran in that car. We ended up getting a 67 Camaro drag car. It was tubbed. So he took the motor and transmission, installed in the Camaro, and he went drag racing with it. And I believe the best he ran, 8th mile, was 670s. Without nitrous. He did nitrous this engine. Several times. I can't remember what he got. I think he ran 6.1s. In the 8th mile, I think he took a quarter mile racing once. He had some carburetor issues, but he ran 1030s maybe, somewhere in that area. Or 1050s, I can't remember. That's been years ago. But it was getting where the engine was puking a lot of oil, getting a lot of blow-by. We figured it was due to the fact that the engine was basically wore out. Started with a block that wasn't in the greatest shape, but anyways, I want to show you here the biggest problem I found with these cylinder heads is the guides. Now the intakes are all decent. They're nice and tight still. I believe there might be one that is a little on the loose side, but check out these exhaust valves. See how much that moves? Every one of them's that bad. Now I got the valve out quite a ways here, but it shouldn't move that much. Here's another one. It's a little harder to move because the seal's still on it at the top. Every one of them moves a whole lot. So that could be caused by a lot of things. The guides being crap, guide material being crap, Excessive heat, lack of lubrication. Pick those two valves out so I can turn it over. That's what it had for seals on it. They came that way. What else? Oh, another thing we noticed is that the tips of the valves were chunking off. Where's that valve at? Right there, you can see it. Every single exhaust, some worse than others, chunking off on the tips. Let's see. I believe this is one of the worst ones. There's that. There it is. Now that makes me believe that excessive heat is traveling up through the valve. Could be due to the fact that there's nitrous in it, which would make your exhaust temperatures go extremely high. It could be the quality of the valve material too. Now these valves, I believe, are procomp valves. There is a number on it. I don't know if you probably can't read it on here, but it says 4317-8 on the exhaust. And there's the intake valve. This looks fairly decent. And it is a 4327-8. I googled those numbers, and the only numbers I could find that matched that were procomp valves. So the valves stood the test. Nothing broke. Nothing weird going on there except for the tip of the exhaust. At least most of the problems are on this cylinder head. And it is, take the valves out here. Exhaust valve. Intake valve. It's mostly these center 4 valves. To notice the issues with. And it is the seats. Zoom in, you can see it right there. There are chunks gone out of the seats, the hardened insert seats. That intake has a chunk gone there. I believe that exhaust is fine, but the exhaust on this cylinder, not too far. Right there you can see the chunks gone. Not to mention all the guides are shot on the exhaust. Didn't go too far. That intake, there's a spot there. Maybe on the side there too. Now what caused that, who knows? Could just be the quality of the seat material. You could understand the exhaust right in there from the guides being loose. Maybe the valves are banging around a little excessively, and from heat. But the intake always runs cool from the fuel coming in, so who knows? Like I said, the owner opted to just buy another pair, take all the parts out of these heads, and install them in his new cylinder heads. Like I say, these are after 10 years of usage, drag race use only. And yes, the engine was nitrous, had the crap ran out of it, you know, all the good stuff. And I don't know if anybody on YouTube has even shown a pair of cylinder heads after 10 years of usage, especially procomps. That chunk there on intake. There's chunks there on the exhaust. And that chunk there on the intake. Those are the only major spots I noticed in the seats. And the other cylinder head has one chunk gone out of one intake, about like that. We were going to do some work to these, and once we saw the seats were like that, we just said nope, not going to do it. And other than that, the cylinder heads themselves seem to hold up pretty good. Nothing's broke, nothing's cracked. Granted, we weren't running a roller cam or nothing like that. Does have dual wound springs in them, which is set up at around 2 inches height. I believe those springs are Howard's springs, which is, if I can remember off the top of my head, they're 140 pounds at 194, which is a little on the excessive side for a solid flat tappet. I like to run about 130, 135. You never had any problem floating valves or nothing. There's another exhaust tip you can see is beat up, banged up, chunked away. There's another one. All the exhausts are that way. Another one. That's the last one. That's about it. That's it. All the intakes are fine. Just normal wear. Nothing chunked out, nothing gone. This head is the exact same way as that one is. The exhaust guides are shot. Other than that, the chambers are still good. You say no breaks, no cracks, no splits. Yeah, it ran good. Some cheap heads, but more of an experimental deal, I guess. 10 years is on these cylinder heads. Like I say, they were used and abused. They were only in drag cars. They were not driven on the street, so as far as miles, I couldn't tell you. We raced it and raced it a lot, so here lately we're going to freshen it up. And see how long she lasts again. There's one other thing I wanted to mention about the intake valves. Now these valves are swirl polished valves, which if it focuses you can see it. Shine a little light on it, you can see the swirl polish on it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, once that crud's on there, what's the point of having a swirl polished valve? Now, when they're new, they might do something, if anything at all. After running it for 10 years, there's gunk on it. Now I'd say swirl polishing is a waste of money, if you paid more to have swirl polished valves. If that's the way they come, I guess you run them. But I wouldn't bother spending any more money for swirl polished, because obviously, after a while, it's pointless to have it. And I guess if you're playing on a flow bench, testing valves, maybe swirl polish does something. But this is real world stuff. I don't think you're going to get gunk on your valve playing on the flow bench. They're now called Speedmaster. And you can see that the intake runners need some work. Those ones have been gasket matched. Those ones need to be gasket matched. Your exact same head, just have a newer date on them. PC 3021 2017 0420. Owner decided to just buy another new pair rather than have these repaired for the moment. He said he might take these and put them on a different engine down the road. But we're going to set these ones up the exact same as the old cylinder heads. And the good part about these is the guides are not shot. Of course, I need a little TLC to be right. But they should be good to go here in a couple days. After we square up the intake runners, do a little bowl work. They need a little bit of work down in there, not a whole lot. Check the valve job. See what kind of condition they are. They need to be ground or not. Other than that, that's all we're going to do to them. Most parts used in performance applications after 10 years have been destroyed and considered unrepairable, or they don't want to take apart their engine if you're, referring to cylinder heads, or it's been sold or traded off to somebody else by now. So that's a pair of procomp 320 intake runner rectangle port heads. Part number PC 3021. After 10 years of hard usage in a drag race application only. In the description down below, I'll put a link to some videos on YouTube of the Camaro that these cylinder heads were on drag racing at a local 8th mile drag track. So check that out.